Our world has massively changed. Like I say, I personally see 2020 back in February, which is 4 years ago. It's really, really scary how long ago that was, but how quick that also seems as well. A lot changed overnight, right? We found ourselves instantly working in an instant cloud environment. And for a lot of customers, we'd never done that before. You know, normally 99% of businesses I spoke to had the security of working in an office. In an office, we had security in place. We had a network manager. We had a firewall. We normally had registered devices. We had devices that were enrolled with the right security, and everything was kind of looked after. Then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, we found ourselves using solutions we maybe had never used before, i.e. Teams or SharePoint. We relied heavily on cloud computing. Security kind of went all up in the air. We had people working from shared devices, people bringing their own devices. If there wasn't any available, if you remember the big drought of February 2020, you couldn't buy a mouse, a keyboard, a webcam, or anything at all. You literally had to do with the device you had and hope it was a good one from work. So we've got this environment now. We have more devices, more different ways of securing those devices, shared Wi-Fi, shared environments, and actually the way we work has changed as well. Now, before I start this, I want us to have a little think about our current usage of IT, right? Because in my mind, we are light years ahead in our business life than we are, in our personal life than we are in our business life. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, in our personal life, we use biometric security and multi-factor authentication every single day for pretty much everything we do. If we want to pay for something, we need to use facial recognition or thumbprint recognition. If we want to log on to applications, we use biometric security or we use MFA. And actually, we're seeing businesses now realizing that, hey, if we're doing it in our business life, in our personal life, we have to get there in our business life as well. And it's exactly the same with Azure. Right? Azure is this big, scary, complex product that I've dealt with for years. And even sometimes I sit there and get a bit confused looking at it. But ultimately, if we take our personal life, we live in an Azure environment. And what I mean by that is, on my mobile phone now, if I need more storage, I pay 99p a month. I can scale up my storage needs. When I don't need that storage anymore, I stop paying for it. It's on-demand computing. The same way with backups. 10, 15 years ago, my absolute faithful Sony Ericsson mobile phone, and if anyone remembers anything like that, or Nokia N gauges or anything at all, if you needed storage for your phone, you used to go and have to physically buy storage, whether it's a little 64 or 128 SSD card, pop it in your phone. And if you ever lost your phone, you would be up the creek. You had to hope you had your phone numbers written down somewhere. You had to buy a new phone, get it all set up. Today's environment, everything is pushed onto the cloud. It's kind of following with our business life as well. And then also AI. We're not talking AI today, it's not an AI session, but AI is also going to come into that conversation when we're talking about future-proofing. Now, the challenges we face, we talked about earlier on, lockdown was to blame for all of this. Communication tools making collaboration harder than it should be. There's something like a 400% increase in the amount of data we are now consuming in our day-to-day life. 4 times the amount of data since before lockdown. And if you think about it, in your business now, if you need to send someone a file, how are you doing it? Now, you can only put 30 meg onto a Outlook attachment. So that leaves either you can WeTransfer something, you can put it on Dropbox, you can put it on Google Drive, you can put it on OneDrive, SharePoint. You can upload it to SharePoint and send it as a link. You can send it directly from SharePoint, directly from OneDrive. You can send it on a Teams message, on an email, or even on a call, on a meeting. Right? There's more ways than ever to share documents. And if anyone is like me, I get quite frustrated finding them. And also with the communication as well, we have more meetings than we've ever had. You know, before lockdown, we maybe had 1 or 2 meetings online, or maybe 3 or 4 in my case. Now I have a meeting about a meeting. And then after that, I have the meeting about the meeting following the meeting. Right? So we can all kind of get along with this right here. Hybrid working, again, hybrid work is absolutely brilliant. It's showing that actually businesses don't have to physically stay in one place to have success. However, with this work comes that challenges. How do we make sure devices are set up correctly? How do we make sure we minimize downtime if something goes wrong? How do we make sure we can get information in people's hands or have a backup in place immediately if that device goes wrong? Ultimately, a device will end up going wrong, get stolen, get dropped, get broken. Any plethora of things can happen, but we can't let that be a blocker. And also as well, security. Just for full disclosure on this, bit of like a level 10 geek. So I do security journaling, which means I sit there and try and break systems and I feed back to people what's wrong with their systems. Security is becoming a huge risk, more than ever so has. And it's because of the 2 things above. We're communicating in more ways. We're uploading data into more places. I always have a bit of a head-in-hand moment when people send me stuff on WeTransfer, just because it's like, okay, where's your data going? Have you actually read the box on who owns that data, who's got access to it after you've sent it? And actually even things like being able to restrict data. Once you've sent data to someone, how do we make sure that we can stop them seeing it if we wanted to. Sorry, literally, I just saw something fly past my balcony and it was like a scene of Twister. Someone's umbrella's broken off outside the balcony. I apologize about the silence there. So really, right-hand side, we see multiple personal devices. People actually now have more expensive personal devices than they do work devices. If you think about it, my mobile phone is probably better than a mobile phone work will give me. My personal devices can be better than that. Sometimes people want to bring their own devices to work. Again, we should be careful of it. Phishing, ransomware, and multiple locations is quite a big breeding ground of stuff when it comes to it.